going on, you guys? Welcome back. What are we doing this week? This week we are going to finish number 2. We got just some minor little details. We got to polish cover plate, work on the nut, a little bit of polish and clean up on the body. Maybe it's just a wax will do it. It doesn't even need polishing. Anyway, there's very little to do on that thing to get it all dialed in and ready to go, which is awesome because it's going to go in a case, and the week after this, I am traveling up to Oregon, and so I'm going to drop it off with Django Woods, which I'm super excited about him playing this thing and seeing it. And then I'm also going to visit Dane Nichols from Jonah Guitars. I don't know if you guys watch Dane or not. When I started my YouTube channel, he was one of the first people to say something kind and welcome me, and he was just nice. And that left a lasting impression on me, so thank you, Dane. Aside from getting number 2 done, which has been hard for me to focus on, and here's why. What? Oh, this one just got a bath, and so of course she came out to lay in the sawdust and get all dirty. Crazy dog. Okay, this is why I'm having a hard time focusing on number 2, because look at all this stuff. I went and got a bunch of copper stuff. Now you'll see I have a bunch of strips here cut for sides. It's enough for 4 sides. Really, one of these strips is going to get cut into copper binding. That's going to go on a brass version if I can figure out how to get binding on these. I don't know. I'm struggling with how to do that. But I really want to make that happen. So we're going to try until we succeed. Ultimately, this copper version would have a brass binding, and the brass version would have a copper binding. So I've got all the copper here ready to go to get a guitar done. I've got all this stuff kind of laying here thinking about how I want it to come together as far as colors and, you know, cover plates and tail pieces and all that stuff. But that's down the road. We'll get to it. First, I got to learn how to join all this. I've got to learn how to braze and solder it together. Then I'm going to do a bunch of testing to figure out how to make binding. There is a guy in New Zealand, I think it's Matson Guitars that he goes by. He builds resonators, and this guy is an incredible artist. His guitars are beautiful. They're a work of art. He's been at it a long time, and it shows. He has a model that is copper with brass binding on there, and it's super cool. I have no idea how he did it. I'm thinking about maybe just sending him a message and say, hey, how'd you do that? I don't think he watches this series. I don't know him. He probably doesn't know me. If it's not a trade secret, maybe he'll just tell me, and then we can move on and we'll have binding figured out. If he doesn't just tell me because he wants to protect his interest in that, then that's fine. We'll just have to do some testing on our own and figure out how to do binding. Okay, now you know why I'm struggling with number 2. Really, all I want to do is play with this stuff. I just want to start soldering and brazing and testing strength and break it and pull it apart and make sure everything's good there. I don't really feel like polishing a cover plate, and I don't really feel like sanding a nut, and I don't really feel like doing setup work because I've got all this here that just looks like way more fun. But we're going to focus on number 2, so what are we going to start with? First thing I'm going to do is the cover plate. I've got it screwed to a piece of plywood here so that I can use the buffer on it, because this thing needs to get polished well enough to match the rest of the steel on number 2's body. So they should be a perfect match when they're all done. Here we go. Let's just get started. Let's get number 2 done so that I can move on to focusing on all that fun pile of stuff over there, because that looks way more fun than polishing a cover plate, but I'm forcing myself to polish a cover plate. Hey, quiet on the set. like that a lot. It matches nicely. That's going to come together really nice. Okay, very happy about that. The next thing we got to do right now, the nut looks like that, which is okay, but it's way too tall. The strings go way down in it too far. Needs a bunch of shaping and sanding and shaving. Anyway, it just needs a bunch of work. I'm not going to bore you guys with that because you've seen me work on this nut for probably 2 episodes. So I'm just going to get that done. I'll show you the result. Okay, the new nut, which is now all shaved down and trimmed down and polished and shaped and rounded edges and corners, so nothing sharp. Looks like that now. Looks really good. I need to make a cover plate for this hole because I didn't make that hole sexy enough to do it without a cover, which I probably should have done, but I didn't. So we're going to make an ebony cover plate for that somehow. I've decided to make this cover plate out of brass for 2 super important reasons. The biggest, most important reason is I'm out of ebony big enough to make one. And the second most important reason is I have brass big enough to make one. Yes, that gets very, very hot very, very quickly. Okay, I think that's a little big. I just added the blue on there and I'll sand it until the blue's gone. Okay, shaved it down some. It's starting to lose its pick shape. Alright, that might still be a little big, but I'm going to sit on that for a few minutes until I decide if that's too big or not. Okay, let's see how you guys feel about this concept. I think that's cool enough that we should try and solder that in there, even though we might ruin everything, but okay, you guys didn't expect me to just stand around in here in a shop full of copper and brass stuff that I just bought and do nothing with it, right? I think that's cool. I can't capture it. Can't capture it at all, but that's super cool. Okay, that turned out well.
my mind. Oh, well, there's no moving forward. I can make it saute or see what's around the corner. Nights can't feel crawling through my body. I would go trembling hand. I go to the window and I see the sun setting there. Oh, there's no help in sight. I wish I could go. I wish I could go. I wish I could go. I go to the window and I see the sunset, and there's no help in sight. I go to the window again and I see the sunrise, and still there's no help in sight. I wish I could go. I wish I could go. I wish I could go.
Okay, I think that's it this week. I remember at the beginning of this video I said there's not much left to do to this thing. It won't take very long at all. It took me a week. That was a lot of work. Couple things that I did not mention during all of that was, one, I stole this little bridge cover plate thing off of one of those shiny cover plates. And I just roughed it up with a Scotch-Brite pad to knock the shine off of it and make it look a lot more like the other part of the other cover plate and the body. And actually it matches really, really well. So that came out really good. It's a bummer I don't have a cover plate on the shiny one anymore because those are expensive, but we'll have to deal with that. You saw me make that truss rod cover out of the brass. I didn't like it at all. It's too big. It's not the right shape. It just doesn't look good. So that didn't make it onto the guitar. So we're still going to do one of those. Like always, I waited till the very last second to do side dots. If I probably could have even put the strings on and then done them, but apparently I did it before that. It came out good, so that was cool. I don't know why I wait so long. I don't know what's wrong with me on those. They're not a big deal. I just don't do it. Okay, lots of new music this week. We had, oh, I'm gonna butcher these guys' names because they're not Americans, and I'm an American. Anyway, we got Joss, and Joss, I kind of discovered Joss because he asked for the CAD plans, and so for these, so I'm really hoping Joss builds one and maybe sends us a picture or something. You guys that got the CAD plans, there's been a lot of you actually. I sent out a lot of the CAD plans. I didn't realize I was going to send that many out. If you guys are working on them, send me some pictures. I'll include them in here to see, so you guys can, yeah, that'd be super cool to see what everybody's working on. Joss is also a cigar box player, and he's got some incredible cigar box stuff, which I'm hoping we'll get into some of these other videos too, and you'll hear that. The guy can play and sing. He's great. Like, really enjoyed Joss. Then we got, I'm really going to butcher this name, Gottfried? Sure, let's go. How about David? Let's call him David. That guy's got some skills, man. He's just an incredible player. A couple of videos that really hit me that I really liked of his. One of them's called Man in Black. He's in an old barn. It's this beautiful old barn. He's playing incredible playing there. And he has a song about his grandfather that I really enjoyed. I think it's called Made by Hand. Made by Hand. That's a great song too. Anyway, Go check him out. He's really a great player. What else we got? I think that's it. I think we can get out of here. My voice is echoing through this thing like crazy. It's just ringing back. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do next week. I think next week I'm going to do... We could get into this copper and the brass and stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do next week. I think next week I'm going to do whatever I'm inspired to do next week instead of doing what I need to do. Because these last few weeks I've been just trying to finish this thing and just do what I need to do. And I haven't been really doing what I've been inspired to do. So maybe next week I'll do something more inspiring. And who knows? I don't know what that'll be yet. So I'm really looking forward to Django playing it and seeing it. And Dane seeing it too. I know Dane is going to get a chance to see it. I just want to see their reaction. I hope they're honest with me about what they think of it. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to that. That's going to be super cool. Okay, now let's really get out of here. I think we're done this week. Thank you guys for subscribing. I really appreciate that. That helps me. Okay, take care. See you next week. I just put my hand down and there's residual grease left over from the grease hydro for me. Yuck.